Oh, friends, let's slow this down before the rumor mill outruns the truth. When familiar faces are already navigating heartbreak, every raised eyebrow on live television feels seismic. The recent fourth hour moment with Jenna Bush Hager speaking emotionally about Savannah Guthrie landed in an atmosphere already thick with concern. That context matters. When viewers are worried, they listen differently. They look for hidden meaning in pauses, coded signals, and tone shifts. But live television is imperfect and human. Voices crack, words tumble out unpolished. What aired wasn't a thriller script or a secret dossier. It was a reflective conversation between colleagues and longtime friends. The internet may frame it as a vault breaking confession, yet sometimes the simplest explanation holds. A woman speaking candidly about loyalty, strain, and shared growth. Emotional honesty can look dramatic under studio lights, but that doesn't automatically make it scandalous. The weight of timing people keep asking, why now? Timing always fuels speculation, but high pressure seasons blur professional and personal boundaries. When one friend is absent or facing family difficulty, another might feel compelled to publicly affirm support. That doesn't equal bridge burning. It can just as easily signal solidarity. In viral culture, however, nuance evaporates quickly. A heartfelt line becomes a headline. A moment of vulnerability becomes a narrative arc. Without verified information, theories about buried letters, hidden pacts, or long held grudges drift into fiction. It's important not to attach serious, real world events to unconfirmed whispers. When law enforcement matters or family crises are involved, restraint is more responsible than creative interpretation. The public conversation can be curious without being conspiratorial. Sometimes what feels like a truth bomb is simply someone choosing transparency at a moment when silence feels heavier. Jenna at 44. At 44, Jenna is in what many call a recalibration decade. She's spoken openly about motherhood, anxiety, health challenges, and the pressure of growing up in the public eye. Over the years, she has carved a media identity built on relatability rather than legacy. That evolution means she often processes life out loud. Reflection is part of her brand. When she talks about friendship strains or past misunderstandings, it aligns with her history of emotional candor. It doesn't read like ambition disguised as confession, it reads like a midlife clarity. Many people hit their 40s and decide to live with fewer masks. That can make old stories sound newly intense, even if the purpose is healing rather than exposing. Growth doesn't require betrayal. In fact, it often requires acknowledgement of shared imperfect seasons. Savannah's steadiness. Savannah's public persona has long centered on composure and moral steadiness. Viewers trust her to navigate breaking news with clarity and faith forward calm. But steadiness doesn't mean absence of complexity. Long term friendships, especially those forged in competitive, high visibility environments, carry layers outsiders never fully see. Professional ambition, scheduling shifts, contract negotiations, personal milestones, these are natural stressors. Recognizing that two successful women have experienced both tension and tenderness doesn't diminish their bond, it humanizes it. The suggestion that one revelation could rewrite years of friendship oversimplifies what adult relationships look like. Mature bonds survive difficult conversations. They don't shatter at the first sign of honesty. In many cases, speaking about strain is what preserves loyalty rather than eroding it. The myth of the hidden letter. Online speculation has latched onto dramatic imagery: midnight pacts, secret letters, buried regrets. Yet without confirmation, those remain storytelling devices, not established facts. It's crucial not to link unverified elements to ongoing family matters or legal investigations. Doing so risks spreading misinformation and causing additional stress to real people navigating real challenges. Media ecosystems thrive on intrigue, but responsible storytelling draws a line between what was said publicly and what is imagined afterward. The broadcast segment reportedly included praise, gratitude, and strong affirmations of support. Those elements rarely trend because they lack shock value. Still, they matter. Before assuming there's something explosive locked in unseen outtakes, it's wise to remember that editing often trims repetition, not revelation. Friendship in the spotlight. Consider what it means to build a friendship while millions observe your every reaction. A shared laugh becomes a GIF. A momentary awkward glance becomes a Reddit thread. That kind of scrutiny changes how people communicate. Over time, subtle misunderstandings can appear magnified on screen. Yet shared history, family gatherings, milestone celebrations, quiet off-camera talks, builds resilience. What viewers saw may have been an example of that resilience at work. Emotional storytelling about a hard night in 2019 doesn't necessarily signal a rupture. It can reflect growth. Adult friendships are not fairy tales. They include ambition, insecurity, forgiveness, and renewed trust. Acknowledging those elements doesn't weaken the bond, it often strengthens it by bringing unspoken chapters into the light. Ratings versus reality. Another thread floating online is the idea that emotional segments are timed for ratings. It's true that compelling television draws viewers, but it's also true that authenticity connects people. Correlation doesn't prove calculation. A spike in viewership doesn't automatically mean manipulation. In moments when audiences are emotionally invested, any heartfelt discussion will attract attention. That doesn't negate sincerity. Assigning motive without evidence often reflects our own cynicism more than insider knowledge. Media literacy means recognizing both the commercial structure of television and the humanity of the people on screen. It's possible for a segment to be moving and beneficial for ratings at the same time without being exploitative. The two are not mutually exclusive. Compassion in complicated seasons. The larger context here involves family strain and public worry. That alone should guide tone. When someone's loved ones are facing uncertainty, speculation about friendships should tread lightly. Compassion doesn't eliminate curiosity, but it tempers it. Instead of asking whether someone is protecting or torching, perhaps the better question is, what does support look like under pressure? For some, it looks like silence. For others, it looks like storytelling. Both can coexist. The internet often prefers a dramatic binary, truth serum or timed grenade, but reality is rarely that theatrical. More often, it's layered and deeply human. In complicated seasons, giving people space to process without projecting narratives onto them is an act of respect. The bigger picture. Stepping back, what remains? Two accomplished broadcasters, years of shared studio time, a moment of visible emotion, viral amplification, and a public eager for meaning. The truth may be far less explosive than hashtags suggest. At 44, Jenna appears reflective, not rebellious. Savannah appears steady, not destabilized by honesty. Their dynamic likely contains both friction and fierce loyalty, as most long friendships do. The story unfolding may not be about secrets at all, but about maturity, about women choosing candor over polish, about navigating careers and crises with imperfect grace. Before refreshing feeds for the next dramatic update, it might help to remember, sometimes the most powerful truth isn't scandalous. It's simply this: friendship can endure hard seasons, especially when both people are willing to speak honestly and stay.